full stack project looks like. Just a second. Yeah, so coming towards the architecture. So this is a drawing which I have made for showing you. I know this is quite messy one, but yeah, just try to take the feel. So there are only three aspects, like generally or only there are three aspects in any full stack website. Firstly, there is a database side. Secondly, there is a backend side, and thirdly, there is a front end side. And all these three things are working on a cloud. Okay, so like if you are publishing your full stack project, not only you are trying to keep it in your computer, then you need to publish it by using cloud. You need to deploy your project on cloud. Okay, so firstly, your front end, like the UI part with which user interacts, also stays on cloud, and the back end where all the functionalities and features, the logical part stays, also stays on cloud. And database, so there are so many database services, on cloud database services, like you guys might have heard about SQL, MongoDB. So they are having their cloud services where they are databases already hosted. You just need to put your data on that one cloud. So now let's get into depth. Nothing but it's just a human interaction layer, and all the data, whichever is like whatever it is kept in the database, gets presented on your screen. Okay, with the help of backend. So your front end is the human interaction layer, which is visible to the user side, and user interacts with that one front end, and all the data keeps on or gets presenting on that one screen. Okay. So this is pretty much about front end. But yeah, if you want to build front end, then there are three languages which are very important. If you are in the website, if you are on app side, then you need, there are so many things like you can use Java, you can use Kotlin. If you are building cross-platform like a single app for Android as well as iOS, then you can go with Flutter, React Native. But today we guys are trying to stay web specific. Okay. So if you're trying to build a front end of web, then you need to learn these three languages: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. The hypertext markup language, the full form of HTML. The main agenda of HTML is to hold this content. Like as you can see over there, it is written language for building front end web. Okay. So HTML is the tag which is holding this text. Okay. So HTML holds the text. What is the role of CSS? So the full form of CSS is cascading style sheet. Okay. So it is used for adding the color, the design, the font size, and all these kind of stuff. And JavaScript provides the functionality. So let's say you want to animate this one text. Okay. So if you're planning to animate this one text, then you need JavaScript for creating that animation. Okay. In case you are trying to create a special effect, like let's say whenever I hoovers this one text, then it should disappear. So all those kind of functionalities are provided by JavaScript. Okay. So I was watching a reel and I remember that there was a question. A guy was asking question to someone that which is the best coding language. So the second person was telling that HTML. So HTML is not a coding language. Okay. JavaScript is a coding language. HTML is a hypertext markup language which is used to build web applications. Okay. Yeah, now coming towards the framework. So you guys, if you guys have ever tried to find internship, then you guys might have seen that if you are a front end developer, then you should know React. React is high, like one of the highest demand skilled in front end development. So what is the main agenda behind all these frameworks? So the main agenda behind all these frameworks is that like there are so many agendas, each one of these framework is having their own USPs, but the main USP or the main reason for all these front end frameworks is that these are used for building single page web applications. So let's take a case where you are building a website for any hotel or for your friend. So you guys might have seen that if there are 5 pages, then after jumping from one page to the second page gets reloaded, right? And from second to third, once again page will reload, which is not a good thing, because if a guy is having slow internet connection, then it will take a lot much time to him to like to reload the page again and again, right? So that's why React came into the picture, and Angular, all these kind of frameworks came into the picture. So the main USP of these framework is that you can create a single page web application where only the different, like the unique components will change. The main component will not change. Like let's say the nav bar. Every websites generally have a top bar, right? And on every page that top bar stays same. Then why should I reload my page again and again? Why should I reload that nav bar again and again? Only the bottom section is different. Then why should I reload that? So React or Angular helps you to keep that component stable and only change the unique components whenever you are switching from one page to the other. So this is the main USP. And apart from that, there are so many other USPs. So let's discuss one by one. Not that like we are not going to discuss each and every framework, but yeah. Firstly, one fun fact that Facebook invented this React and Google invented this Angular. Okay, I guess I'm not sure, but I guess Angular came in the like Angular was launched first, and after that React came. Okay, so the main difference between React and Angular is that if you are integrating third-party things in your web applications, then Angular is best. But if you are integrating Google-related stuffs with your website, then Angular is better. Okay. And after that, Vue.js came into the picture because Vue.js is very easy to learn. So that's why Vue.js came into the picture. After that, after that, there is one more framework which is known as Next.js. So Next.js came into the picture because of server-side rendering, because it helps you to uh, increase the speed of your front end by providing the server-side rendering, where everything renders on the server side, not on your Chrome browser. So this was the main USP of Next.js. And similarly, there are so many other frameworks present in the market. You can read about it through Google, or as you can know, ChatGPT always helps everyone. So you can also search about these frameworks on ChatGPT whenever you require. Okay. Now coming towards the backend, one of the toughest thing, one of the nightmare of each and every student whenever he's trying to switch from front end to back end. So talking about the backend. So for understanding backend, you need to learn about APIs. What are APIs? Okay. So for understanding APIs, let's take a scenario. Okay. So let's say there is a restaurant. Okay. So there is a dining area where all the customer or where all the people sits, and there is a kitchen area where chef cooks food, right? And there is a waiter who acts as intermediator between both the areas, right? So he prepares the memo after asking customer, and he uh, gives that memo to the kitchen and to the chef. After that, chef reads all the memo and prepares food accordingly. After that, he takes that food and gives it back to the customer, right? So waiter is acting as an intermediator between both the parties. Similarly, APIs are something which carries data from front end to the database and from database to the front end. Okay. So this is the main role of APIs. They act as they are something which takes all the data from database, processes it, and delivers it to the front end. And after that, takes all the data from front end, processes it, and delivers it back to the database. So what is backend? So backend is nothing, but you can say that it is a collection of APIs or a bunch of APIs working together. Okay. So, how to build a backend? One of the most important question. So, if you are planning to build a backend, then you need two things. Firstly, a runtime environment, a basic environment where your server will run, and API. So basically, API is something where all the logic are kept and which is going to take that data from backend to the front end and front end to the backend. Okay. Uh, After that, let's talk about the frameworks. What kind of frameworks are there in the market? So firstly, you guys might have heard about MERN stack, right? So in MERN stack, MongoDB is the database, and React, like in stack, R is the front end, like React JS, like React, it represents the React, which is used for front end. But the Node and Express, N and E in MERN stack, represents Node and Express. Node provides you the runtime environment where your server will run, and Express is the framework which is used for writing the logical part of that API. So you can build APIs using Express. Okay. So this is a highly demanded skill. MERN stack is the highest demanded skill in this market of web development, especially. So we will discuss about the career opportunities and whether you should go with it or not in the upcoming FAQs. But yeah, the main agenda, like if you are good with JavaScript, then you should go with MERN stack. Okay. And MERN stack is very fast. That's why people uses MERN stack. Okay. After that, if you are building on Java, then you can use Spring Boot. Spring Boot is a framework for building backend in Java. Django is very famous. If you are building on Python, then you can use Django. uh, After that, I'm not sure, but I guess .NET is used. Laravel is used for writing backend using .NET language, but not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not that much sure about Laravel. Okay, so there are, and Cake PHP for PHP, and there are so many other, like n number of backend frameworks are there in the market. Okay, you can choose accordingly according to your project. So if you are building a college level project, then and you want very fast response time, then you can go with Express, like MERN stack. You can use Express. But if you are building very highly scalable model, like which is going to use million of user, then you should go with core languages like Spring Boot. Okay. And if you are trying to integrate so many AI/ML related things and Python related stuffs, then you can go with Django. Okay. So you need to choose according to your project. But if you are planning to find internship and more opportunities, then you should go with MERN stack. Okay. After that, database. What are database? So there are, like I guess, not sure, but 7 or 8 type of databases are there. The most famous one are SQL and NoSQL. There are so many other databases, like I was searching on Chat GPT, I found 2 or 3. One was Graph QLDB. There was one which was known as Bison. There are so many other. I have never tried all those, but yeah, SQL and NoSQL are one of the most famous databases in this market. After that, how to build backend in this, how we should create database, or what is the main difference between SQL and NoSQL database. So in SQL, all the data are kept in form of table, just like this. But if you are using NoSQL, then there is a structure which is known as document and collection structure. Okay. So let me simplify it with one example. So let's say you are making a database of your class where there are 10 students. Okay. So you are going to take name, mobile number, date of birth, and college ID. Okay. Then on the top, in that, on the first row, you are going to add the fields like name, roll number, ID, mobile number, date of birth, all these fields. And after that, in each and every row, you are going to put a data of one person. Okay. And in the second row, you are going to put the data of second person, and so on, so on. Okay. But if you are trying to keep that data in NoSQL, then you are having a one document for writing all the data in, like you will write all the data in the first document of the first person, and all the data of second person in the second document, and so on, so on. So like in one page or one document, the data of first person is kept, similarly second person's data is kept in the second document, and so on, so on. And all this collection of document is known as collection. Okay. So this is the main key difference between SQL and NoSQL. Okay. Now coming towards the competitive advantage. What is the main advantage between SQL and NoSQL? And which one you should choose for your project? So the key difference is that SQL is little bit slow as compared to NoSQL. So in NoSQL, like NoSQL is having a very high latency, okay, like very low latency. So if you're using NoSQL databases like MongoDB or DynamoDB, these kind of databases, then you are having a very high response time, okay, like very quick response time. So this is the main key difference between SQL and NoSQL. SQL is not that much slow, but yeah, relatively slow as compared to NoSQL. Okay. After that, um, what is the second key difference is that creating relationship is very easy in SQL, but it's quite tough in NoSQL. So let me give you one example. So if you are using Amazon, right, and you are searching for iPhone, so whenever you search iPhone, then you can see that very quickly you get thousands of responses, and you can keep on scrolling, and every data get loaded in real time, right? So how this speed is achieved? This is achieved because of NoSQL database. Okay, but in the payment section, you need multiple kind of relations. Like there is some credit card offers, there is some discount, there is MRP, there is GST, multiple type of multiple type of payment data, multiple type of pricing data is present over there, and you need and website need to relate all of them and find a total amount, total price, calculate a total price. So at that positions, websites use SQL databases for keeping or storing all the related data, because it's quite easy for building the relations in payment sections using if you are using SQL. Okay, so these are the competitive advantage. After that, what is cloud? So cloud is a giant computer, as you can see over here. Cloud is a giant computer with a huge processing power, and you can rent a certain amount of like processing power from that supercomputer or cloud computer in form of virtual servers or virtual computers. Okay, so let's say Google is having a cloud computer, right? So Google might be having million of GB of data in that one computer, million of GB of RAM, million of processors put it over there inside that one computer. So you can rent some amount of that serve, like some amount of resources accordingly. So let's say you are trying to build a website and you want to host it on cloud, right? So you can rent 2 core CPUs, 2 GB RAM, and 5 GB of storage according to your requirement. Or in case you want to build a website, then you can rent 1 core processor, 1 GB RAM, or 1 GB of storage from that one computer. So you can rent accordingly in customized manner from the that one huge cloud computer. Okay, so why cloud computer? So what is the main concept behind cloud computer, why it came into the picture? So let's say you want to play a game and your computer is not having that much of processing power, so you can run that game on that cloud server, and with you can rent huge amount of resources as much as your game, like as much as your game requires, and you just need to remotely access it from your PC. Just you need a high speed internet, and all the resources will be used on that one like cloud computer in your virtual machine, which is kept on that one cloud computer, right? So this is the this is the main key. So this is the main agenda. This was the main agenda of cloud computer. Okay, renting a virtual server on cloud computer. And the second thing, which is required, or you can say the second thing, the what can I say? The second use case of this cloud computer is that, let's say you are you are building a website which need to be live 24/7 because it is an e-commerce website, and there are million of users, which are like thousand of users who are going to access your website, right? So you can you can host that website on your virtual server which you have rented on computer. And as you know that that cloud computers keeps on running all day, like 24/7. So your users will never see any kind of disruption because it's already hosted somewhere else, and it is getting power supply, continuous power supply, continuous internet connection, and it is having sufficient number of resources. Okay, so in this way, this was also a main use case of cloud computer. all the websites are hosted on cloud. Okay, so the web hosting, remote access, application development, these are the main use case. Now coming towards the main, like one of the most important thing. So it is, so the AWS is one of the market leader in this cloud computer segment. Okay, like AWS is having its monopoly. So in AWS, so basically, AWS provides so many type of cloud services. Like it provides you database services, it provides you virtual machine services where you can host your application. It provides you computational or analytical tools where you can process your data on AWS. After that, it provides like AWS is having a service which is known as AWS Pinpoint, which is used for bulk mailing and bulk messaging services. So AWS provides, I guess, 30 or 33 number of services. Not sure, but yeah, I guess AWS provides you 33 kind of services. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat box. So this is the main. That's why AWS is one of the market leader. But yeah, Microsoft and Google is also having some great market capture. Uh, Microsoft is having a dominance in the enterprise section where huge companies uses Microsoft Azure for their services. After that, Google Cloud is used if you are building something which is very much Google, like Google environment oriented project where each and everything, whatever present in your project is related to Google. You are using Google APIs and so many things related to Google. Then you can use Google Cloud Platform. So these are some insights about cloud and the main functionalities or the main features which cloud provides us. But yeah, the main thing which I would like to enlighten over here is that you have seen that there are so many things which you need to learn for becoming a full stack developer, right? But the major time which you are going to waste is in the backend. Backend is going to be one of the toughest part for you if you are going to learn. It will take somewhere around 6 months. So if you will use Dozer, then it will simplify your whole like journey for building your first full stack project. So now I am handing it over to Hardik, and Hardik will be explaining that how this thing works.
Yeah, thank you, Ankit, for explaining about the whole full stack development architecture. And I hope you all understood that. Now let's move on to the dozer part. What is dozer? Let's understand it with the simple definition. So dozer is used to connect any data source to instantly get a low latency data API with just a simple .yaml configuration. So this is just a definition. So basically, Dozer just provides you a simple data API from where you can just get the data from your database and show it to your front end. Right? Let's understand this from the basic architecture of the whole full stack development. Let's go to the next slide, Ankit. Yeah. So as Ankit has already explained, the basic architecture of the whole full stack project, we have our database, we have our backend or the API, then we have the front end. Front end is whatever you see when you open a website, and whatever you see after opening a website, that's the front end part of any website, right? It could be any application that you open in your phone, right? So that's the front end. The database is where all the data are being stored. So um, let's say there's a Amazon website and they have the database. So whatever the data they are collecting from you, like your name, your orders, your mobile number, your address, they are storing those data in your database, in their database actually. So yeah, this is database, this is front end. Now what is the API or the backend? So the API is actually taking the data from the database and putting it in the front end, right? And it goes forward and backward, right? So let's understand how much time does it actually take to learn database, then front end, then how much time does it actually take to learn backend, right? Starting with the database part. So there are two types of databases. First is NoSQL database. Second is SQL database. Starting with the NoSQL, we have MongoDB, DynamoDB, Firebase, Elasticsearch, CockroachDB. So these kind of database have some folder and files like structure. Let's understand this with an example, right? So let's say you have downloaded some PDF from Google, right? So it would be stored in C drive, and there would be a downloads folder by default. There would be a C drive, then there would be a download folder, then your PDF would be there, right, which you have downloaded. So there's a main folder which is called collection in a NoSQL database. Then there is a downloads folder which is called as document in the NoSQL database, and then there's the data. So yeah, that's how the data is being stored in NoSQL database. Then coming to the SQL part, so the table and the rows and columns. So in the SQL databases, the data are stored in a rows and columns manner in a table, right? Where you have rows and columns. You understand that, right? Ankit has already shown you the table structure, right? So that's how the data are being stored in SQL form, SQL database. Some examples are MySQL, PostgreSQL, MS SQL, and MariaDB. So it generally takes 1 day to 1 week to actually learn how to put your data, any data, to a database, any of these databases, right? So it generally takes at max a week to actually put your data, to learn how to put your data in any database, right? Let's go to the front end part and see how much time does it take to learn front end part of a website, right? Next slide. Yeah, so we have three things. First is HTML, then CSS, then JavaScript. What HTML does, it generally holds the uh, data that we have in our website. CSS is used to do the styling part, and JavaScript is used to give the functionality to it, like a button in any website, right? So that has the functionality to it. It generally takes 1 week to 1 month, depending upon how consistent you are with actually implementing the front end, how much you are coding. So it generally takes 1 week to 1 month to actually learn it. It is the first thing that developers go into, right? So firstly, developers learn the front end part, then they go to the understanding the database, then they create the backend. So it generally takes a month to actually learn to make a simple website. Let's say a simple website could be making a clone of YouTube, right? Just the front end part, not the functionality. So that could be the front end website. So as simple as that. So it generally takes 1 month at max to actually learn it. Then how much you are practicing it, how much you are keeping doing it, right? That the more you do it, the better you get it. So let's go to the backend part and see how difficult it actually is to actually implement it and learn it, right? So we have in backend the runtime environment. You have to set the runtime environment for the coding part. Then you actually have to do the logical coding. Logical coding basically means you are writing the functionality of each and every buttons, buttons, or basically the functionalities, right? Let's say you are opening a website, again taking an example of Amazon. So when you go to Amazon, you have, at first you see a register button, right? So you just have to put your data in it and click on register button. So what does that register button do? It takes your data to the back end of Amazon and puts there, and lets you in the website, right, in the Amazon website. Then again, you have a lot of functionalities in there. If you click on add to cart button, the product is being added to the card section, right? So these are the logical coding part. Then comes the optimization, how optimized your code actually is. This is very crucial because let's say there are some items in your wish list, right? And you are clicking on add to cart button, and it's taking 5 to 10 seconds to actually add it in the cart, right? So that would not be called as a optimized code because it's taking a lot of time. That's why it should be optimized to just do the same task in at max 1 or 2 seconds, right? To actually, yeah, 1 or 2 seconds. So that should be the optimized code. Otherwise, you will not have the good experience with the same website, right? Then comes the security. You all know why security is most important for any backend code, right? Because any threat can happen because the data is being transferred through the APIs, right? The APIs are taking data from the backend to the front end. So let's say you are doing some payment, and yeah, there are payments happening in the website. There are your personal data is being shared with you to the website, right? So that's why security is very important. So that's why these 4 points majorly sums up why does it take a lot of time to actually learn backend. Like learning is easy, but actually optimizing the code and making them more secure, that takes a lot of time. So it generally takes 1 month to 6 months, and maybe more than that, to actually learn and be good at it. So yeah, now let's see how Dozer can help you with that, right? So let's go to the next slide. Yeah. So with Dozer, you just need 10 minutes to actually learn it by just creating a .yaml file. So let's see how .yaml file is being created. And I'm not going to show you the practical part, but just the theoretical aspect of it. So let's go to the next slide and see how much code you actually write to actually create a simple dozer file, .yaml file. So in the left hand side, you can see a simple configuration of .yaml file. That is the dozer configuration where you're just writing that. Let's see the connection part. You are in this case, you are just mentioning that you have the connection of local storage. Your database is data is being stored in your local storage or the local PC, and you have just mentioned the table name and the column and rows, right? That's it. You just have to mention what your database name is and what the column and the row is. That's it. Once you mention that, you just have to data, giving it a response, right? Just like a normal API do, right? So it generally takes 10 minutes to actually learn it. I'm not going to show you the tutorial of how you can actually make this happen for this session, right? I'm going to show you later. We have planned uh, we are currently building a course about this for the dozer. So once you click on the giveaway form, we have asked you to start our repo. Once you do that, once we launch or the publish the course, we will actually contact you for give you actually free access to the course, right? That's what we are going to do. So let's go to the next slide and see how it is actually changing the whole basic architecture, right? So we had the database, we have front end. So you don't need to do the hassle of building the whole backend. You just have to put those are there, right? You just have to write 10 to 20 lines of code to actually do the uh, to bring the data from the database to the front end. That's it. So yeah, so I guess that's it from our side and about the dozer, right? So yeah, now coming again to the giveaway part, uh, we have shared you the giveaway form. If not, I'm just sharing you again. So if you see the form, we just have simple questions like which among the following companies have started React. And there's already mentioned it. Full stack development comprises of. So we have already shown you the basic architecture of it. So you might have guessed it. Which among the following is the most popular cloud? So Ankita has mentioned it a lot of times. So yeah, these are the basic questions. Then, how easy do you think Dozer could be to build a full stack application? So we have not explained you or gave you a tutorial about that. We just gave you a theoretical explanation of how it is actually changing the whole basic architecture, right? We just gave you a theoretical explanation how it's actually implement it, right? So yeah, and then we just need you to start our report to yeah, we'll just give you a free access to our course. And what was the other thing we are doing? Can't see, but yeah, you can read that. But
Okay, so guys, meanwhile you are filling this form and you're like getting engaged in this one whole giveaway process. Parallelly, I'm going to discuss some FAQs, which people generally ask us while the sessions. So, starting with the first question, why full stack development is better than front end development? Does it help in getting internship? So, definitely, full stack development automatically includes front end skills inside it. Then definitely front end is a better skill. And yeah, talking about the internship opportunities. So there are so many companies, like the demand for front end is very high, but supply is also high. Okay. But talking about full stack, demand is not that much high, but supply is very less. So if you'll compare the both, like if you'll compare both the scenarios, then full stack developer always stays in the win-win situation. Okay. So yes, full stack development is one of the best skill if you want to grab an internship very easily. Okay. After that, how much is the demand for a full stack developer as compared to the front end developer? So I've already given you two scenarios where if there are 100 companies, then there are 110 front end developers sitting in the market. But if there are 10 companies for full stack developer, then only there are 6 or 7 people who are sufficiently skilled. So front end development is one of the best skill to learn in 2023 if you are planning to search for internship or like a job. So how I'm explaining this, so I'm having experience because I earlier I was working with a company where I was a product manager, so it was my role to hire interns. So I have seen these trends where I was getting so many plenty number of front end developers, but it was very difficult for me to search for full stack developers. After that, what is the pay scale in internship and full time? So if you're a front end developer, so in internship you will get somewhere around 5,000 to 30,000. This is the total range. But if you are searching for full time in front end, then you will get somewhere around 3 lakh to 6 or 7 lakh. Okay. But talking about full stack, so in full stack, you will get a minimum stipend of 10,000 and a maximum stipend of somewhere around 75,000. So this is the range for internship. And talking about the job, then in full-time job, generally a full stack developer earns minimum of 8 lakh to a maximum of 30 lakh. Okay. So this is the main difference between front end and full stack in both the scenarios, internship as well as full time. Okay. Now coming to our second set of question: how to get internship as a full stack developer? So does it help my portfolio? So if you are searching for full stack, like if you are planning to like how to get internship, so firstly you should make a portfolio. And yeah, a full stack development portfolio, like if you are a full stack developer, then your portfolio is automatically is unique as compared to rest of your classmates. Okay. Because generally full stack developers are very less in the market. After that, does it help my portfolio? The answer is yes. How to present it in my resume? So if you are trying to build a resume, you can put anything which you want, but most important thing, you should put at least one e-commerce project or at least one social media project, fully built and fully functional, made by only you, not a group project, only you. So you should make a single handed, made by single handedly, you only, it should be your personal project. And you only need to build a full stack, full fledged working e-commerce. It might be with only 100 products, but yeah, a full fledged working e-commerce or either a social media. Because when I was hiring new guys, then generally these are the two skills which was a genuine thing. Let me give you one experience of mine. So I hired 10 students, 10 interns in my company, and after that we fired 8 of them because they were not having that much of sufficient skill. And the two guys who left at the end were those who was having skill of building e-commerce and social media. The first guy was already was having two personal e-commerce project, and the second guy was having one e-commerce and one social media project in his portfolio. And same thing happened recursively with me. When we hired a second slot of students, I hired somewhere around 20 students. Then once again I saw that only those people were left who were having sufficient skills in e-commerce and social media. Okay. So these are two very general projects which is important in your portfolio. Not This thing is not happening only with my company, but it happens with many of the companies. They generally see that, yeah, this guy is having skill of building e-commerce and social media, then it means that he's having each and every concepts crystal clear. Okay. After that, what are the platform from where I can get the internship easily. So you can either try Internshala, but these days Internshala is in like controversies because there are so many fake companies running over it. But yeah, you can try over there. By luck, it might be possible that you may get some good internships. But there is one more platform which is known as Cubet Tech. CUVETTECH, Cubet Tech. So when I was in my previous company, I used to like I was using Qvet Tech for hiring full stack developers. So basically, it's that platform is a startup done by someone from IIT Kharagpur. On that one platform, you only have to put your resume, you have to fill all the information, and if you are having sufficient skills, then that platform will automatically recommend your profile to the HRs or to the companies. So when I was using that platform, then I was getting automatic recommendation of students with sufficient skills, and they were really good. So you can use this one platform as well. After that, how to start full stack development. So which framework to choose? So if you are only focusing on internship and placement, then you should go with one stack, MongoDB, Express, Node, and React. But if you are trying to build some personal project, then you should do research that what tech stack is best for my kind of project. After that, which course and resource do I pick? So there is one of the most famous course which is known as Angela U full stack web development. It is available on Udemy, or you can also find it on torrent or somewhere else. But yeah, this is the course which is the first entry point for any web developer. Even I have read this course, many of my friends have read this course, and all the interns which I used to hire in my company was also started their journey with that one course, because it's one of the best and easiest possible course on internet to become a full stack developer. But yeah, after reaching certain level, you need to read documentations for enhancing your knowledge. After that, which laptop should I prefer if I want to become a hardcore developer? So there is like I'm having a personal experience where in that one startup we coded everything on Windows, but our cloud was having Linux environment. Generally, cloud have Linux environments for deployment. So we developed our project in Windows, but when we deployed on Linux, then we started encountering so many issues, so many bugs. So after that, we shifted to the Linux. So if you want to become a very pro coder, then you should go with Linux. And if you are having like good amount of money, then you can also go with Apple, because the projects which are going to become live on user side are generally deployed in Linux environment. So you should develop in that way. But if you are only learning, you are just making project for hackathons, you are making project for your personal portfolio, then Windows is more than sufficient. But if you are building some real time applications which are going to face user side, then you need to go with some better laptops. Okay, so these are some questions, and meanwhile you guys are filling this form, you can ask your questions in the chat box as well if you're having any personal doubts, or otherwise I'm done with my part. Okay, over to you, Ankit.
Okay. If anyone have any question regarding their full stack and anything else regarding internships or companies, you all are free to ask them.
I'm not having GitHub ID. What should I do? Okay, the form is open till 12 night, and we guys are going to announce the giveaway winner somewhere within 24 hours. So you are having sufficient time because we need to go through all the answers as well. So you can create it after 12, like before 12. You need to create it before 12. Okay. Any more questions related to full stack development? Bro, what is dozer? Can you? Okay. So let me simplify it with the picture, with the slide. Yep. So as you can see over here, that if you are trying to build a full stack project, Then you need to set up a DB where you have to put all the data, and you have to create a front end where all the data get presented. But it takes a huge time for learning the backend part and creating the backend, because it's one of the most hectic job and one of the most tricky job. So without wasting 6 months of time in learning backend and building your first project, you can just use Dozer. Dozer is just a simple, just a simple project or simple tool where we will give you one single code snippet, or you can say a .yml file, where you have to configure everything that, yeah, this one is my database, this one is my, you just have to fill that template of code, okay, which is a .yml file. After filling all the information in that one YML file, you just need to run your application and you don't need to create the backend. All the data which is present in your database will automatically get fetched from there, and it will automatically get presented on your front end. You just need to connect your Dozer with your database and with your front end. That's it. It's only 10-minute thing. So that's it, guys. Any more question? Okay, nice of you.
Okay, I think there is no more question. Thank you, Ankit and Hardik, for this lovely session. I think we will get in touch with you guys again for these kind of sessions. Thank you, guys, and thank you everyone for joining us. And
Yeah, thank you, Ankit, for having us on this amazing session.
thank you.